campaign contributions to Feinstein, Pelosi, Gavin Newsom. So how much of this do you think is just looking the other way because you're on the take, or utter negligence and incompetence?
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of narcissism and selfishness being demonstrated as we speak by these politicians. I mean, look, I get that people don't think that it would make that much of a difference if Karen Bass was here 100% of the time in the lead up to the fires and hadn't gone to Ghana. I disagree.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? We have got Ana Kasparian in an interview with Jillian Michaels, basically on what has been going on in California for a very long time and how it has led to the severity of the fires that they are experiencing now. Now, as everybody knows, this is a yearly occurrence in California, not to this extent, but they do live with the threat of wildfires starting in January. Honestly, it wasn't all about the winds, okay? As far as the spread of the fires, the start of the fires, there are some questions about that, but let's put it to you this way. It didn't go up the way it did because of those factors. So, anyway, let's go on with little tidbits of this interview. Like I said, it is very interesting to listen to Ana, because she is absolutely angry over the California politics that have been going on over there. So why don't we just sit back and have a listen and find out if anger over California politics finally gave Ana, the red pill.
I said, if anything good comes out of this, it's that there's new leadership in California, and God willing, Gavin Newsom doesn't win in 2028, because that would be an epic catastrophe. And when I reached out to you, you said to me, I knew this was going to happen. I told everyone this was going to happen. So I want to start right there, because you have been doing that. What did you know? What were you saying? Where are we now? Go.
Hey guys, thank you all for joining me. If you could hit the subscription button, I'd like it. My target is 500 by the end of January, and I need your help to do that. So hit that subscribe button, and thank you very much.
Well, what I've noticed with local government in California is just how little these politicians care about us. I mean, they show us every day. Following 2020, I mean, things have been so incredibly dysfunctional. To be fair, things had been dysfunctional in the state of California for a while, but it became more pronounced in 2020, and things have only devolved since then. So let me just be clear in stating that no one in California, no one in Southern California was surprised or shocked by the high-speed winds that we were hit with last week. We knew about it a week prior. We knew that those high Santa Ana winds were very likely going to create a situation in which a fire would get out of control, right? And so fires start for a multitude of reasons. We have aging power lines and infrastructure here that has sparked fires in the past. We have dry conditions, okay? Even though we had record rain last year and the year before that, this year we haven't had rain yet, so there are dry conditions. So you have the Santa Ana winds, the dry conditions, and you also have this aging electrical infrastructure that could spark a fire. And so what we needed more than anything was to be prepared for a worst case scenario. We needed to ensure that all of our reservoirs were filled. We're now learning that one of them, the Santa Ynez Reservoir that carries 117 million gallons of water, was emptied nearly a year ago for minor repairs. That reservoir should have been filled in the lead up to the Santa Ana winds. But what makes it clear to me that our mayor, Karen Bass, underestimated the fire weather is that she didn't do that. She didn't prepare, and in fact felt the need to go watch another sovereign country's president get inaugurated.
Now, everybody knows that Democratic politics in California is absolutely and utterly insane. There is so much payola and grift that goes on in that state. It's not even funny. I mean, if you want to be completely and utterly honest, okay, this gives Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New Orleans are run for its money. I mean, seriously, that's how bad things are out in California. And when Anna says that they just got more pronounced in 2020, it's not that they got more pronounced in 2020, it's that the chains were taken off in 2020. You finally had basically Biden in the White House at that point in time. He could reverse everything, and did reverse everything that Trump had done. Okay, and it was just a field day for any state, New York in particular as well, okay, that was run, okay, by Democrats, that they could do basically whatever they wanted to. And this is what happened, okay? And they have been backed by the local media and the national media for so long that they think they can basically get away with anything. And that's why they've been so incompetent in all this. And Anna's going to go in this, but it's clear, okay? Anna is absolutely and utterly furious at the response and the politics that have led up to that response. The problem is that she's going to go off on the left a little bit, and basically that's just going to show that tinge that's actually still there. So they are going to start going into exactly how dirty California politics can be.
Campaign contributions to Feinstein, Pelosi, Gavin Newsom. So how much of this do you think is just looking the other way because you're on the take, or utter negligence and incompetence?
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of narcissism and selfishness being demonstrated as we speak by these politicians. I mean, look, I get that people don't think that it would make that much of a difference if Karen Bass was here 100% of the time in the lead up to the fires and hadn't gone to Ghana. I disagree. I think her trip to Ghana gives you a sense of what her priorities are. So there's that narcissism.
Yeah.
There's certainly corruption. I mean, Dianne Feinstein is the one who was bribed legally by the Resnicks,
Right.
and was a big supporter of having them control our water supply to the extent that they control our water supply. And so big business rules us. We are under corporate rule as a result of how our political system is now structured, as a result of how legalized bribery is now baked into our political system,
Right.
both on a local level and on a national level. And so what you will notice, if you just take a step back and look at what has happened to the two political parties over the last several decades, is with the Supreme Court loosening up our campaign finance laws and allowing for this legalized bribery to be part of our system, the Democratic Party, which used to be the party of the working class,
Right.
has become more and more and more corporate. And as they've become more corporate, and as they've abandoned blue-collar working class Americans, well, they need a way to differentiate themselves from the Republican Party. So what have they leaned into? Culture wars. Okay, the party of it is the politics of division, really, right? Because everything they focus on is really like rooted in this like identitarian mindset, which has actually fragmented, in my opinion, the Democratic voting base. But more importantly, it has kind of hid the ball from most voters, and that ball is corruption. They don't want to talk about the issues that impact the working class, because the policies that would alleviate the frustrations of the working class do not agree with what the donor class wants.
Right.
The donor class is funding these politicians, and what they want conflicts with what Democratic voters want. And unfortunately, we have corporate media that provides cover for these corporate Democrats. And it's so incredibly frustrating when you hear ordinary people simply regurgitate these pathetic excuses on behalf of the Democratic Party. They have failed us. They have failed us on a local level and on a national level.
And she's right in one way, and then she's wrong in quite yet another. Look, California politics, yes, is dirty. There is a lot of payola out there. You are dealing with, what was it, 100-year-old hook that failed and caused the power line to fall, that caused one of the fires. There were other fires that were deliberately set, one of them supposedly by an illegal immigrant, but we will find out. I don't know this stuff for sure, so I'm not going to go out and say, yes, this happened. Okay, but the thing that she's wrong is that the government is being run by business. It's the other way around, okay? The problem is that everybody has been so synced to thinking that big business is the problem. I'm not saying it's not. it's not solely the problem. It is the unholy alliance between business and politics, okay? Just take a look at Enron. And take a look at the housing crash that around 2007 or so that led to Barack Obama's election. When business goes too far, they will be smacked down. Now, as far as the housing crash is concerned, there was a lot that was being pumped up, and the government was using basically some government programs such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to basically launder money. Okay, and the Clinton administration, very a long time ago, back before that, had basically made lending companies lend to people that they knew may not be able to pay these back under the auspices of getting more minorities into housing. So yeah, this was a bubble that was going to burst, okay? And basically, if you tracked what happened, the fines and everything that these lending companies got were not even a slap on the wrist. Okay, so you'll see what happens. Okay, the government will, push companies that work with them, and they will slap on the wrist companies that get a little bit too far ahead. Okay, so again, that's a very leftist view, and Ana is being true to her roots at that point in time, and that's just basically what you have as far as Anna's concerned. But again, her anger at all over this is absolutely and utterly real, and we all know that California politics are absolutely and utterly dirty. And it's just, it's one of these things that maybe leads to the fact that, hey, maybe is she having a red pill moment? Next, what we're going to see is how she actually feels about Gavin Newsom, and Karen Bass, and California politics in general, and how this is all going to play out.
With that said, Newsom did call in the guard, thank God. And I wonder, by the way, why days later? You knew about this. You admitted to knowing about this on Sunday. I believe these fires broke out on, was it Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday the 7th. He admitted to knowing about this and being prepared for it on the 5th. And then he called the guard in, I think, on Wednesday the 8th, like days later. Why? Why?
The only reason why, this is my theory, this is what I suspect happened. Once someone like Gavin Newsom realizes that his inaction has become a political liability, that's when he acts.
Right.
Gavin Newsom looks out for Gavin Newsom.
Right.
Gavin Newsom only cares about his political career. He doesn't care about you getting robbed on the streets. He doesn't care about homeless people starting fires. He doesn't care about the looters. He doesn't care about all the multiple Targets, Walmarts, CVS's that have now shut down, closed their doors, did away with hundreds, thousands of jobs because of the theft, because of all the retail crime. He doesn't care about any of that. The only time he does care, though, is when he realizes, oh, people see me for what I am, and it's going to hurt me.
Right.
So I say that because for the first time in so long, in several years, I am noticing Californians and Angelenos in particular wake up and speak out against the local Democrats. And nothing is going to change unless voters rise up and do something about this, okay? Because, again, Gavin Newsom doesn't care about you, okay?
Not at all.
Karen Bass clearly doesn't care about you.
No.
You have to make them care about you.
So yeah, Anna's a bit angry, and anybody would, okay? And let's face facts, okay? My title was a bit of a clickbait, because is Ana going to be red-pilled? Absolutely not, okay? At the beginning of this, she went to every direction other than California's crazy environmental laws that make their forestry service a joke to the rest of the world. Okay, there are places that have just as much forest cover and face just as much danger from forest fires as California does, and they don't have nearly the problem. Why? Because they have a forestry management program that actually works. Okay, and I was one of the ones that was just saying about clear cutting and things like that. And thank you guys basically for the commentary to set me straight that there are more programs and things that have to be done in order to protect the forests from forest fires of this magnitude. But again, if she's never going to go that, she will die before she says that any environmental program that California instituted is the cause of the problem, okay? And I'm not saying it was the cause of the problem, because clearly a dead tree didn't spring up and light another tree on fire. That did not happen, okay? But what it did is it exacerbated the situation and turned it into the conflagration that it actually is, okay? So, no, okay, pardon, as I said, pardon my little bit of clickbait there. Ana is not going to be red-pilled anytime soon. And as far as California voters and everything is concerned, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know how many of my listeners are from California. Shout me out if you are from California, and why you still stay there. I know it's beautiful country. I visited there once. It was in San Diego. It was absolutely and utterly gorgeous. But there is a point in time where you just have to say enough, okay? I mean, I live in Maryland, okay, where it is affectionately referred to as the People's Republic of, okay? But there are parts of Maryland that are very, very conservative, okay? And Maryland has somewhat of a conservative bent to begin with. It's only about 3 counties that go completely and crazy out as far as Maryland's concerned. But of course, they are the most populated counties, and they are the one that run politics as far as Maryland is concerned. And I suspect that it's pretty much the same way as far as California is, again, with LA being the second largest city in the country. So, yeah, Ana is absolutely and utterly angry. A lot of people are utterly angry out there, but it's not going to stop them from voting to the left. And that is the worst part about this whole thing. It is not going to stop them from voting to the left, and it is not going to stop Ana from championing anything of the left, okay? You're going to have just one more leftist California Democrat challenge Gavin Newsom, okay? And if Gavin Newsom's machine fails and this actually does destroy his political career, hopefully, okay, that California Democrat that takes over is going to be just as bad, okay? He's going to, he or they, whoever it is, okay, is just going to come over a couple of things, maybe put a token fine on the power company that causes some of the problems here, and it's just going to be the same way as it always is, because everybody in California will die right now before they vote in a Republican, okay, or anybody other than a leftist Democrat. And unfortunately, it's just not going to change until people say, yeah, okay, we're not going to vote for you, we're not going to vote for a Democrat, and we're going to switch over completely, and let's see what they do after that, okay? So, yeah, this has been Did Anger Over California Politics Finally Red Pill Ana? No, it didn't. But there again, thank you guys for joining me today. Love all the comments. Get me some more of the comments. Hit that notice button so you know when I do this again. And above all else, please hit that subscribe button and help me out, folks. Thank you all again. Later.